Well, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Tonight, it's actually, I don't know, it's probably noon when I'm posting this video, but tonight I'm just like hanging out in my house and I just see all these packs that are just like laying around, and I was like, you know what? Let's just make a video out of it. So we're going to talk a little bit about Everfest. Look, we got Bravo right there, the star of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about Everfest. We're going to talk about just some conversation about the set in general. We're going to do that while we crack open, I don't know, it looks like half a box of Monarch Unlimited. These are just packs I have left over from playing Sealed with some friends and stuff. We got some Tales of Aria First Edition. We've got some Tales of Aria Unlimited. We've got half a box of WTR. So we're just going to hang out, chat. We're going to talk about the game a little bit. And then if we have extra time, I even have some like Pokemon and Magic cards. We probably won't get there. But anyway, what do you guys want to start with? I'm going to start with, let's just go straight to the first edition. Let's just see if we get any cold foils out of these random packs of Tales of Aria. So, you know, I think as we talk through Everfest, this is kind of the conversation point I want to have. Man, I think that Everfest might be the most important set for Flesh and Blood in the history of the game. Oh my gosh, a Channel Lake Frigid and a banned Ball Lightning off the bat. Channel Lake Frigid's, that's a huge hit. It's like a $24 card just hanging out there in the pack. I think Everfest has the potential to be one of the most important sets for Flesh and Blood. Not necessarily because the set itself it is important, because of the timing of the set. The market's just in this weird kind of standstill. A Flicker Wisp. Another Majestic. Dang. Flicker Wisp. The market's just in this kind of weird spot where there's just a lot of whatever. And I think that the set needs to and is going to be interesting and fun to open. And I think that that's going to be like the key for Everfest. Is it going to be fun? I think a lot of the answer to this is going to be hanging in, man, Dazzling Crescendo is such a cool card, is going to be hanging in the Carnival slot, which is it's the buzzword. It is what everyone is talking about. It's what everyone is specking on. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's going to be in it. Oh man, Channel Mount Heroic. These are just random packs here, everyone. These are just random packs. I think whatever is in that slot will kind of make and break the set. So if you take a look at these sets, I've talked about this a lot, and this is why I wanted to do this in this video. Take a look at these sets. You know, you've got so much focus on just 3 heroes. So I'm talking mostly from the secondary market perspective. It affects the gameplay too. From gameplay and secondary market perspective, there's only 3 heroes that are affected from Tales of Aria. Well, you know, Monarch, there are 4 heroes that are affected with cards there. Well, Everfest is going to come out and it's going to impact every single player of Flesh and Blood. There are people who play Flesh and Blood and were not impacted to a large degree by Tales of Aria. This was one of the complaints that people had, was like, hey, there's nothing new for my class, like Mechanologist, whatever. It changed the meta for sure. But it didn't change. But Everfest is going to, like Crucible of War did, change up the entire game for everyone. And I think that is such a huge conversation point that not everyone is understanding, because everyone involved in the game is going to have their eyes on Everfest. I think it's super interesting, just based on like my pre-orders and the conversations I've been seeing happen in the Discord. A lot of people are not necessarily pre-ordering as many boxes as they did for other sets, which I don't understand, because again, I think more people are going to need the cards, but what they're doing is they're saying, hey, I'm going to buy singles. They're kind of try to time the market based around what they've seen with Tales of Aria. And the problem is, if everyone does that, you're not going to, in a foil channel, we've gotten all 3 of the channels out of random packs. Last first edition pack here. So I think like the issue is, if everyone does that, or if a lot of people does that, it's going to make the singles insane off the bat. And that's going to be a really interesting thing to watch. But I think a lot of eyes. What do we want to do? We want to move on to, let's do WTR, and then we'll come back to Tails. A lot of eyes are going to be on it. I think one of the most important things for the set, for Everfest's success, and this is kind of the heart here, is that it's got to be fun. It's going to be a fun experience to open because it's not draftable. Showtime. There we go. It's not draftable, and that's an important nomer, because for stores, Crucible of War off the bat didn't do very well for the stores that were running Flesh and Blood back then. George talks about this a lot, that his store, nobody really liked Crucible of War, but what we saw happen is that people enjoyed opening Crucible of War. People enjoyed experiencing that set because there was really fun things to collect. The majestic cold foils were, they were hard to pull, but they were also, like, the pull rate was really accurate or really good on them. It was just a fun pull rate, right? Like, you didn't know if you were going to pull one or not, but you pulled one enough times for it to be fun. You had a lot of, the extended art. Twinning Blade was a really kind of fun chase. And then you had, the shard and all that stuff. Like, it was just a really, really fun box to open. And again, if you had a favorite hero, you were also excited to pull the cards from it. So I think it's going to be super interesting now that we're in a world where there is such a vibrant marketplace and a vibrant community about Flesh and Blood. We kind of need that box opening experience even more. Ooh, Remembrance and a foil Reckless Swing. There we go. We kind of need that. Gosh, this card, man, so frustrating when you lose to a Reckless Swing. So frustrating. I just think, the current status of the Flesh and Blood community needs that kind of Razor Reflex, needs that kind of fun experience. I think a lot of the balance that holds right now is in what is in that Carnival slot. So anyway, I don't know. It's going to be super interesting to see what that happens at the end of this week whenever we see some people getting boxes and open them. I think it'll be a lot of fun to see that and watch that and to see what people get. And it'll be a lot of fun to learn what's in that Carnival slot. But I think that is such an important question for the success of Everfest. Now let me talk about a little bit what could be in there. If it is a reprinted cards, so if it's reprinted cards and it's like the list from Magic the Gathering, Ancestral Empowerment. These have been pretty good packs. Blessing of Deliverance. I hope that there's a lot of those cards. I don't know. I hope, like, Command and Conquer. Like, if that's where they're reprinting Command and Conquer, then I hope that version of Command and Conquer allows the card to either that version. Man, it's like a double printed. This card feels super heavy. It's interesting. Either one of two things has to happen if that's a reprint slot, which is like that needs to be extremely valuable or that needs to be extremely overprinted, because Command and Conquer, it either needs to, like, the unlimited version either needs to come down in price, and this would be a more desirable version, or this would be the less desirable version. So it's just that's an interesting thing. I honestly don't think that it's going to be a card like that, like an actual, like, play. I think it's going to be like hero. I kind of like DM Armada's take that it's going to be like a hero card in an alt art frame, and that will kind of be that slot, and that works really well because it won't add a massive amount of value, but it'll add a lot of fun. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. It'll be super interesting. Anyway, that was not a bad. We got Ancestral Empowerment and a Forge for War. All right, back to Tales of Aria. This is unlimited Tales of Aria. So, you flake out. Man, Tales of Aria has some of the coolest artwork. Look at that. It's not as good as Crucible War though. It's just not as good as Crew. So let me know in the comment section what you think. What needs to be in that slot in order for it to be a success, but also, like, that slot, I don't want it to take too much of the value from the box either. If if the Everfest box is all about the Carnival slot, in terms of the price of cards, it's just going to be an interesting, it's going to do interesting things to the rest of the set. It's just interesting. Like, I don't know. Like in Magic, there's so many cards in that list slot that you don't really calculate the EV of that. You don't really calculate the EV of that slot. So if it's just reprints, then I don't know. I don't know. That's why I just don't think that's the answer. I think it's got to be some sort of alt art of something that's a token and easily accessible. I don't know. It'd be really interesting if you can get cold foils in that slot. There's a Blizzard. All right, so we've gotten Blizzard and Channel Lake Frigid in our packs. That's pretty good. Pretty dang good. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I had some packs laying around. I was just like, hey, we might as well rip them open and enjoy it. Yeah, might as well rip it open and enjoy it. We'll probably skip out on the Monarch here. Not super excited about opening Monarch, and I'd rather keep it for sealed. Also, I'm just out of things to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Everfest slot. I want to talk about how important it is for Everfest to simply be a successful set. I think, you know, there's a lot of eyes on the game right now, looking at Tales of Aria, looking at you know, what happened with Monarch, and this is kind of the culmination of that block. And so a lot of people waiting for something to complete it, waiting for something to wrap it up and bring it together. Force of Nature, Briar, Specialization. Interesting to see what happens with those specialization cards when heroes get Living Legend status and they're reprinted with another name. It'll be the same name. It'll be Briar, but it'll be interesting to see if their reprints interact with those specializations in a special way. Haha, special way. Get it? Specialization. All right, last pack, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with me, for rambling about the game. Super interested to see what's going to be in that slot. Super interesting to see what they're going to do to bring excitement to the set, and we'll see what happens then. But without further ado, this was a pretty fun little open. We got 3 channels. We've got an Ancestral Empowerment, a Remembrance, and a pretty good opening. Hope you guys have yourself a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to the people around you, and we will talk to you again later.